I'm back with another video, folks, and I just wanted to show you guys, I actually redid my O-scale layout. So yeah, this is what it partly looks like and everything. Yeah, I partly redid my O-scale layout because I kind of wanted to switch it up a bit, and yeah, that's what I did. I switched up my O-scale layout and all that, so yeah. And also, yeah, so basically what I do want to mention, guys, is I don't know if I ever mentioned this before. I cannot remember if I ever mentioned this or not in my other videos, but I'll mention it again. Rather if I forgot to mention it in my other videos, or I never did mention this in my other video, but I'll just say it in case I did not mention it in my other videos, because I am pretty forgetful and I do not remember if I mentioned this or not in my other videos. So yeah, basically now that I have N scale, basically now that I have N scale, it's first HO scale. Yeah, like, so basically this is my order for N scale, O scale, and HO scale. So yeah, since I have HO scale, N scale, and O scale, since I have those three, but also HO narrow gauge. Yeah, HO narrow gauge. It's the same thing though. I mean, it's HO scale, but it runs on N scale tracks, so that's why they call it HO narrow gauge. So yeah, but that really doesn't count. Yeah, that really doesn't count though and everything. So no, I'm not gonna count HO narrow gauge because it's pretty much N scale, but it does run on N scale track, but it is considered HO scale. So it's built like an HO engine, but it's really N scale because it runs on N scale track. But basically, I just consider it N scale. So yeah, that's why I'm not going to include HO narrow gauge, because of that reason. So yeah. So since I have HO scale, I mean, I do have HO narrow gauge, but I'm just not going to include it still. Yeah, I'm still not going to include HO narrow gauge, even though I do have it. So yeah, so it's going to be, yeah, so with HO scale, O scale, and now N scale that I have. And again, I'm not going to mention HO narrow gauge, even though I have it, because of the reason that I just said. So yeah, HO scale, N scale, and yeah, HO scale, N scale, and O scale. Those three scales right there, HO scale, N scale, and O scale. Those three, yeah, HO scale. Oh, I can't even talk tonight. Yeah, HO scale, N scale, and O scale. Those three model train collections that I have, yeah, those three model train scales that I have, I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna put this in order of out of those three, of the ones that I like the most, and basically in order the way I go with it. So basically, the first scale that I'm in, so the scale that I'm into the most is HO scale. That's first. So HO scale I like first, because HO scale I mostly stick with. Like HO scale I mostly collective and everything. And then N scale, even though I just got into N scale a couple months ago, I like N scale second, and then third is O scale. So yeah, first, yeah, so the number one scale that I'm into the most is HO scale. The second scale that I'm into, the second most that I like is N scale, and then the third is O scale at the bottom. So yeah, HO scale, N scale, and O scale. Those three. Yeah, those three model trains that I'm in. Yeah, those three model train scales that I'm into, HO scale, O scale, and N scale, those three that I'm into, yeah, there is my order, so you guys know which ones I'm into like the most and I collect the most of and everything. So yeah, first I love HO scale the most. N scale I do as well, and then O scale. So yeah, first place is HO scale, second place is N scale. Yeah, first place is N, or no. First place is HO scale, second place is N scale, and third place is O scale. All right, one more time. First place, all right, we got first place as HO scale, second place we have N scale, and third place we have O scale. So yeah, that's my order right there. So yeah, guys, the thing with Thomas and Friends and everything, with the 4 collections and everything, and the Thomas items and other scales I may or may not collect, and other Thomas like scales and like other model scales or whatever, and same thing with All Legends Go, I won't collect and everything. But basically you guys already know. I've said it in many of my videos before over the past few months in a row, even on my YouTube posts and everything, or community thing, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's all on there, so then you guys know like what Thomas model trains I do collect, do not collect, and I may or may not collect in the future. Because one of the items that I may or may not collect is on the large scale G scale of like both Thomas and Friends collections of like Lionel and Bachman of large scale G scale. Because I know I said in one of my videos when I was at Driver's Village, saying that maybe, and it was in my description that I think I wrote that, or I said that in my video, but I said it somewhere, wrote it somewhere that I might get into like G scale or large scale maybe sooner, like the next year or two. But honestly, I think it's still going to be way more late. I think it's still going to be a lot more longer than 1 or 2 years. It's going to be a lot longer than next year or 2 years or even 5 years from now, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy with what I got. I'm not getting into large scale G scale anytime soon. And even if I wanted to collect some not related Thomas items in G scale, large scale as well, because that is a 99% chance I'm not collecting either. Even if I wanted to collect some large scale G scale items that were not related to Thomas and everything, that's a 99% chance I'm not collecting. But it is a 1% chance of the opposite, that I will collect it. And same thing with the Thomas collections that I just said. I mean, you guys already know it and everything. I've said this a while. Yeah, no, it's all in my YouTube community thing, like YouTube post, whatever you want to call it. It's all in there so then you guys know like what Thomas model trains I do collect, and Thomas model trains that I do not collect, and Thomas model trains that I may or may not collect. And large scale, G scale, that's one of them that I may or may not collect. So it's all on there and everything. And then there's some things on there too. And there are some videos and like posts on there too, on like community and everything of some like things of like trains that I may or may not collect, that I might change my mind about and everything. with like some trains that I don't want to collect, and like yeah, like some trains that I don't want to collect that I might change my mind about if I want to maybe change my mind and want to collect some of those or not or whatever. It's all on there too and everything. It's pretty much posted everywhere or whatever. So yeah, I don't have to explain it again because it's in many of my videos. So yeah, you guys already know what I'm talking about. As you guys already know, like, what the goal is for me with completing the 4 model train collections of Thomas and Friends. An HO scale Bachmann, O scale Lino only, and HO narrow gauge Bachmann, and N scale Bachmann only. You guys already know what I mean by that, with discontinued, currently on sale, and coming out in the future, with those items and those 4 scale model train collections of Thomas and Friends of every single item. Like, you guys already know the deal. It's all in my YouTube community thing and like YouTube posts, like whatever you want to call it. It's all on there and everything. So yeah. Enough chitter chatting. Yeah, enough chitter chatting. This is what I also did over here. I switched this up too. Now let's speed this up a little bit. All right. Is that a good speed? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a good speed. I like that. I like it like that. Yeah, I like the train that fast. Oh yeah, that's a perfect speed. That is a perfect speed. All right, let's get another train going. Also, too, folks, I actually managed to get my Percy and Thomas engine to run. And what I also made a discovery about this Percy is that, like, no, so my dad ended up getting me the Percy set and everything that came with the troublesome trucks, but the one with Bluetooth and everything that it has like the new controller and everything. But yeah, I discovered that this was actually a used one. I discovered that this was actually a used one because look at the switch on there. I mean, well, actually, no. I don't know if this was a used one or a new one. Because if I had to remember, I think my dad got me this at my local hobby train store and everything. But yeah, because I dropped this like a few times and everything, so I don't know. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, right there. Like, there's supposed to be some switch right there to like switch like the power of it like on and off. I can see where it says like on and off and everything. Wait, let me see. Does it say that? Oh, I got it. Let's go in the light. Oh yeah, right there. You see? It says right there on off. Yeah, there's supposed to be some black switch there and everything where you can like switch it on and off. But yeah, I don't remember seeing it there and everything, but maybe it was there. Maybe it was there all this. Yeah, maybe it was. Oh, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. There we go. Yeah, maybe it was there the entire time, but when I dropped it a few times, maybe it like came loose or something, and maybe it's here somewhere and I don't know. But yeah, I really don't know, folks. But yeah, but hey, it's running good and everything. Oh yeah, look at that face. That's perfect. All right, should we run this? I mean, I already got Percy out here, so I say we run him. This way, should we go? We'll go this way. Yeah. that I just don't know, folks, if that's a new one or a used one that my dad got me years ago, because I really don't remember, because I really can't tell if it's a used one or a new one. That if it is a used one, then obviously maybe that black thing right there to like flip the on and off switch button and everything to switch it, the power of the locomotive on and off, if that was never there years ago when my dad got me that set years ago, then obviously it must have been a used one, I'm assuming. Or if it was a new one, maybe it was a new one, I don't know. If he got this at my local hobby train show and everything, or train store I meant, yeah, if he got this at my local train store and everything, then obviously it has to be a new one. And yeah, because I did drop this engine a few times, folks, so maybe the switch might have fallen out or something and broke off, and it's laying here somewhere or whatever, and I just don't realize it. But hey, it's all right though. I don't really care about it, just as long as the engine runs and everything, and I know how to solve the problem and everything. Like, that's all I care about. As long as the engine works fine, that's all that matters. So, it's kind of similar to how I said that I'm gonna go through all my drawers and like basically other like shelves and like collections and everything, and like go on a little scavenger hunt to find all the missing pieces